Hi, welcome to VSMCon 2023. My name is Jack Marr. This session is value streams plus digital twins for operational strategy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pavel. I'm glad to be together with Jack and present this topic. I'm founder of VSOptima, which is focused on the digital twin of operations.
We want to talk about how value streams can be used as a way of informing digital twins, particularly from an operations perspective. From the value streams perspective, I want to focus on our customer, getting to why and how true value is created, delivered, and realized from that customer's perspective.
Moreover, I would love to chime in the recent statistics that I found. By Forrester, like 58% of the companies doesn't know the customer journey. So therefore, there are a lot of questions about whether they understand the value streams, how do they manage value streams. And this is where I believe the combination of technology and great methodology from the Lean can play together and build the value.
Absolutely. And building these systems together, we can enable folks to really do what they do best by giving them better tools and enabling them to contribute to something that they really care about.
Indeed. So yeah, let's jump to the digital twin. What is about? So just to give you some perspective, historically, it's from the engineering. So people created this complicated physical devices like jet engines, and they want to understand what is going on there, whether they need to have a preventive maintenance or how you can make sure that it's fly longer. So this is where they build simulation model and then connect of these jet engines, connect to the data layer so they can see what is happening in real time and then make a decision about how to operate it in an efficient manner. And this is where I believe we can combine and make the digital twin of operations, digital twin of bank branch or some office, digital twin of your customer journey, regardless of the type of the business. It might be supply chain, it might be coffee shop, it might be software development team that produce the value. So this is where we believe the digital twin can give you observability in real time. You can see what is happening, but given that it's simulation model, you can also have a predictive capability. You can validate your decisions of what to change to, calculate the ROI, communicate with the executives. So if we're gonna do that, we're gonna improve our throughput in certain percentage. And moreover, so you build it once and you continuously have this model suggesting the inefficiencies, highlighting the opportunities to improve. And this is where you can embrace continuous improvement in reality, instead of and every time then you need to do the improvement, you build the value stream map. You have done it once and use multiple times.
So that's interesting, Pavel, because it sounds like what you're doing is taking the value stream maps that we've created in the past and putting them into a multi-dimensional, far more complex environment where we can see the interactions between them. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah,
awesome.
Correct. So if you have already a value stream map, it's rather straightforward to map it into the simulation model, and that gives you a huge amount of opportunities of predictive capabilities, observability, and decision intelligence.
And so by doing it this way, we can get closer to reality with models that are more complex and less simplistic, right? So we can then use tools to manage that, kind of like using containers and trying to use them manually versus using something like Docker or Kubernetes, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, and you can calculate what would be the impact. Docker infrastructure as a code and other engineering practice definitely improve the productivity of engineering team. But to what extent? Like how many activities you can accelerate, and you can easily model that. Another interesting aspect that you can do is verify the impact of test automation. This is actually one of the questions that triggered the VSOptima journey. The client asked me, several years ago when I worked with on one of the engagement optimizing the operations for the technical team. He asked me to justify ROI for the test automation introduction, because this guy has a team of I don't know, 100 people, 100 engineers, commitment for executives, and whether he needs to change those commitments because he needs some time to pay back this lack of test automation that might derail the commitment for the executive. So he needs to figure out what would be the ROI model, whether he needs to change the priorities and communicate to the leadership, or like the speed that they're gonna get after the improvement, let them keep the commitment. So this is interesting question to explore.
Absolutely. So it really is kind of a complex model. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the things that we should look for here?
We should look at the several aspects. So first of all, we need to understand that, let's say, lead time is a derivative of the activities behavior that you have in your value stream. And it's also important to recognize that the lead time is also derivative from the load that you put on your value stream. If you have a twice bigger demand, like twice more features requested from the client, your bottleneck will be, your lead time will be different versus if you have, I don't know, twice less demand. So this is one part. So this is dynamic perspective. We need to understand how the value stream behave in dynamic. For that purpose, we need to have a data points and collect those kind of events that triggers value stream to move toward one or another directions. So, and you can connect data gradually, connect model to the data layer gradually. In this case, you can have certain set of assumptions if the data is not available or data is not of good quality, and some connected, but you can extrapolate the end-to-end behavior of the value stream even if you have partially available data. Do I answer the question?
Yes, absolutely. And I see where these two ideas really start to come together, because where the value stream maps are really good at, you know, getting to the detail, they're not necessarily good at displaying it, and certainly not showing the flow characteristics. So the model that you build then in the digital twin, I guess, can really exercise that data and prove out what we've uncovered in the value stream maps.
Right, and you can like find the causal relationship between elements if you improve the capacity on the specific step, whether it's really moved the needle in terms of throughput. Maybe it's not a bottleneck and there is no point to improve the capacity. So this models helps you to avoid those pitfalls. You can really prioritize your improvement toward this bottleneck and get the system perspective or system impact.
It's really system thinking, right? It's about not just the data, but the processes and even the ecosystem within which it all operates. And I think that's the complexity that the digital twin really enables, is looking at all of these different dimensions and perspectives.
Yeah, system thinking. And you can add on top of that Goldratt theory of constraints. So what is actually we're building the model of constraints, connect to the data layer to make sure that we capture them in real time and capture the capacity remaining in this constraint. And given the demand, we can project what's gonna be future performance.
That's awesome, because it really brings us right into the so what, right? So having these value stream maps that we understand at the detail level and being able to manage the complexity of that aggregated and amalgamated environment into this entire ecosystem, and being able to see where they plug in and how they interact is amazing. And then once we understand it, of course, we can begin to communicate that and communicate what our reality is, and find out that maybe other realities might be somewhat different, and to work together on that, and ultimately have all of the shared pieces that enable us to truly work together towards the outcomes that we seek.
True. Communication, I believe this is one of the important parts, like observability. You can communicate what is happening at the moment. Whenever you are asked about that question from the leadership, and you can also understand, like, if you value stream architect, you can see what is happening. And yeah, communicate your decisions. What would be if we're going to change the certain parameters in our value streams, or we're going to re-engineer the value stream completely? What would be the implications? Yeah,
Absolutely. So I guess that brings us to what do we do next then? I guess where do we start? Is building and understanding the model the first step, or where do we go?
yeah, we usually start from the workshop. Like, going back to the lean practice, we need to capture the structure of our operations, our value stream, to map them. And then we need to collect information about the constraints, about the specific, like, how many people involved, how long does it take to do this activity? Is it a continuous step or it's batch processing? So for instance, like sprint, right? It's implied that you have already a set of features that you need to deliver. So this is batch processing versus Kanban. This is continuous flow. It has different performance characteristics that we are capturing. So once you do it, you push the button and see whether your model is reflecting the reality, or you miss something you need to calibrate. Once you calibrate the model, you can connect it to the data layer and have a continuously observable value stream plus decision intelligence.
Right. So clearly there's a huge data requirement here, and we'll need to understand the relationships of that data. Let's talk a little bit about tools though, right? So we know that tools are a necessary part of this. What should we even be considering, right? So value streams and value stream mapping, even into value stream management, I think those are certainly not in hand, but certainly we understand what they are. From a digital twin perspective, what is the deal there? What should we be looking for? And how do we use that to do these other things that we just talked about doing?
Yeah, so for digital twin, I can recommend try VSOptima. So it's easy, simple tool. You can build a model as it relates to the data. So there are several ways. What I found in practice when I was a consultant, it's not always the case that you have access to the data, and it might take months to get to the data layer. So what you can do is to leverage synthetic data, given your observation from the Jira or other task tracking systems. If we're talking about software development, you can look at the activities and the distribution. For instance, how long does it take to create the feature? How long does it take to test it? If those activities are separated, and you can map this behavior, specify it in the synthetic data generator, and here we go. You can play already with model. If you have access to the data, then awesome. Then you just configure integration with the systems and get the data input in real time. So as simple as that.
Great. And VSOptima will help us with things like decision support and continuous improvement, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. This is a solution for value stream architect, for managers of the like product managers who are responsible for the delivery of the value to the client, or orchestrating or managing the value streams. Yeah, there are other alternative solutions on the market, of course. Those are more focused on the engineering, or they're engineering centric, if you will. Like any logic, you can build any type of simulation model. You can also connect them to the data layer, but it requires certain amount of time to learn this notation and to be able to code to configure the model. Of course, there is a MATLAB with Simulink. There is Rockwell automation solutions. There is Simio. So there are a set of solutions for simulation, and they already start building the capability to integrate with the data layer to really build the digital twin. And I would say that right now those solutions more focus on the manufacturing processes or some kind of engineering physical processes, less on the pure operations, if you will.
Excellent. Thank you. That helps with context. So I see that we really have tools then that will enable us to do this, but observability, I'm gonna throw a flag here. I have gone on record many times of saying we really don't have observability available to us in today's world. So that's going to be something that we'll have to grow into, right? As the industry gets better at being able to provide true observability, we'll come back. Maybe we'll talk about that again next year.
Okay. Yeah, with pleasure.
So we talked about, leveraging tools and using the right tools. So, cue in, VSOptima as a real leader in this space, which is why I asked you to partner with me this year, because I really see that as the growth vector for value streams, taking what we have that's good to the next level. But I think there's also a part here for those of us that are managing or still looking to implement value streams as the precursor for our digital twins. And that's really focusing on the value that we're creating and delivering and measuring those outcomes. It's continuing to be a challenge, but focusing on that real delivery of value, and ideally down to the level of realization of value from what we have done and delivered, becomes the next challenge as we continue to push the envelope of how we can focus on using our tools to create and deliver better value in better alignment with our goals and outcomes. So for those of you that have learned a little bit about digital twins today, we'd encourage you to come to VSOptima.com and check out the tools that are available for the digital twins. I'd also love to work with you on value stream mapping and how you can continue to push your skills and capabilities in this space so that you have the right information and tools for the input into your digital twin.
Yeah, value stream mapping is an essential exercise that you need to do before you jump to the digital twin implementation.
Thank you very much for your time with us today. If you'd like to get more information about this, you can reach us through this platform, or you can reach us directly via email, and of course on LinkedIn, as noted earlier in the slide. Again, my name is Jack Marr. I'm the founder of ValueStreamPro.com. And today with me is Pavel Azaletsky, the founder of VSOptima. Thanks for joining us at VSMCon, and we hope to see you again here next year.
Thank you.